Where do you go to find peace? And more importantly, might it be where you least expect it? Welcome to PSA. My name is Felix if you're new around here. And if you're back, thank you. Now, I'm not sure if you're like me, but I can't seem to find enough hours or energy in a day to get done what I need to get done. I'm biohacking for energy and peace of mind. I wake up before 5 a.m. and I usually pass out completely expired by 9 p.m. Well, last week my wife shared this brilliant message about being fatigued but not faithless, and it really gave me some hope, so please check that message out. In this stream of being fatigued, a few months back my church announced this trip to the desert, and my wife knew I needed some time off, so she bought me a ticket immediately. But when it comes to more life, the desert just doesn't seem to be the first thing that comes to mind. Nonetheless, a few hundred of us headed out to the desert in search of just that, more life. I wouldn't call it a retreat because we didn't lose any ground. All we did was advance. Advance in mindset, advance in brotherhood, advance as men of God. I don't know where you live or where you're watching this from, but I live in downtown LA. I'm sure you guys hear it sometimes. But that desert silence, it really hits different. And in between the silent moments, there was this sound that kept growing, a sound of worship. And as the men grew more comfortable, that sound grew stronger and stronger. Our camp was called Sons of Thunder, after the nickname that Jesus had given John and James. Now, not because they were picture perfect like a lightning bolt, but because they were a little rough and ready to bring sound and impact like thunder. For us, you and I pray we don't just all look the part, but actually bring impact. And as the days went by, while we all listened and shared and sang and screamed and cried and played and prayed, God's words were the loudest sound heard. And it reminded me of the story when Jesus, immediately after being baptized, was led to the desert by his Spirit and confronted by the enemy, or you may say the devil. Now brace yourselves after the highs, because God sometimes rewards your wins with another battle. But no, he's not challenging you to make you weaker. He's challenging you to make you stronger. In Matthew chapter 4, starting in verse 1, it says, "Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, 'If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread.' And Jesus answered, 'It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God.' Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of a temple. 'If you are the Son of God,' he said, 'throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone.' Jesus answered, 'It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test.' Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all of the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. 'All this I will give you,' he said, 'if you bow down and worship me.' Jesus said to him, 'Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only.' Then the devil left him, and the angels came and attended him." After starving himself in a fast, he's challenged with food, comfort, impulses, pleasures. Then he questions his ability, status, and whether he can accomplish something. If you are him, toss yourself off this cliff, surely God will intercede, won't he? Then the devil takes him to a mountaintop. Boy, we love a mountaintop. I know I do. I just posted a photo of me on top of a mountain on my Instagram. He then tempts them with power and influence, notoriety and leverage. It sounds like the news every day. Anyone ever been tempted by even one of these? I have, by every one and more. But I guess the devil didn't have any cute chicks available or internet access. Otherwise, I know what the next temptation would have been. Now, I know you might say this story is ancient, Felix, or it might have not even happened. But although the ways we are tempted change, we all share the same intrinsic needs since the beginning of time. But let's just start with the first verse, because too often we want to cop out and put the mess that we create on somebody else to blame. It says, then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. Your own spirit can lead you into a dark place. You know better, but you don't do better. Just know extreme accountability leads to extreme freedom. Now, I don't want to take too much of your time here, but the most important takeaway is when Jesus is brought out to the desert and tempted with the same things that we are tempted with every day, it was not his feels or opinions, motivational quotes, or a course that set him free. It was the scriptures. Verse by verse, he fought for his freedom. Information brings knowledge. Scriptures bring transformation. A very useful Bible study for another time is to track down all the Old Testament or Torah source verses that Jesus was quoting to speak against these tempting moments. But please remember, we are all created in the likeness of an ultimate creator, not a deceiver. So know that this enemy that we love to blame cannot create. Our Creator has not only created a path out of every temptation for us, but a path right back to Him, following His holy words and His Holy Spirit. So next time you feel a little tempted by the devil, know that he is on a dimmer and you can either turn him up or snuff him out with God's light. And until next time, let's love more, and I'll see you at the next PSA. Hey, thank you guys for joining us for another week. Whether we're tired or weary, God's words can replenish you. We have over 100 messages here from my wife and I. Please check them out and share them with the first person that comes to mind, and we'll see you next week.